So, this is a running channel. Normally I speak about running, but today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk about my soccer, football, you know. Like in Ireland we call it soccer to not get confused with GAA football, which is like, a different type of football, you know what I mean? You know, but the thing is, I started out, when I was a kid playing in, school, break time. I wouldn't normally play football when I was really young. I normally, play with my friends. We'd be playing like Yu-Gi-Oh. We'd be playing like marbles. What else were we doing? We were like running around, chasing each other. You know what I mean? That kind of changed eventually when I was 9. I watched, I remember as a 9-year-old in the summer of 2006, my dad, my 2 sisters, and my stepbrother, we went to Cork in a place called Trebalgan for, what was it, 2 weeks or something on holiday. And I think my brother kind of got me into playing a bit of football there. We played a football a bit, wasn't that into it, like I'd probably I remember we played for a little while and I'd say, oh, I'm tired, I want to stop, but I think we started really getting into it then, into the World Cup, the World Cup that year, and stuff like that. I remember watching some of the matches. I remember watching the World Cup final, when Zidane headbutted that guy, Materazzi. That was kind of funny, but that's when I really got into it. So yeah, then I started playing at break time instead of hanging out with the other crew. We'd be playing football at break time every single day. I'd be playing, kicking a ball in the garden. At the time I was actually living in this estate at the time from 2006 2008. Sometimes I'd be out playing soccer with some of the locals around the area, because the area I live in, it was a bit more friendly back then. You actually knew people, and do you know what I mean? And I love soccer, and I went to a rugby school, and that would piss me off. We had to play like rugby for most of the year after school. And when I was playing with my friends in this estate, I'd always want to play soccer. If they're playing something like, I don't know, British Bulldogs or rugby, I was like, no, I want to play soccer. And I'd be, I'd try to get everybody to play soccer, or maybe I'd go on my own and play soccer, do you know what I mean? And that's how I really got into it. I wanted to join a club, but for some reason I didn't really get around to it. I don't know, I tried to have my mother to get me into a club, but she didn't for some reason. I think it was like summer of 2007, 2008. That would have been a good opportunity to join a club, but I didn't get around to it. Then my mother did something a bit unconventional, because I kept hounding her to join a club. In January 2009, around that time, she went over to these pitches in Deer Park, and she asked this random guy, he was like the coach for some team. This was what was this, Mount Marion football club, and she asked them if they could let me join, and they did get me to join a team. So yeah, I would start playing for the team. I think we were like under 11s. I was 11, nearly 12 at this stage, and there was an A, a B, and a C team back then. But for some crazy reason, they put me on the A team, even though I'd never played for a team before. And obviously that didn't work out. I think I struggled to keep up, because I wasn't that fit back then. Struggled, the passing drills and the shooting drills, and my mother got a call saying that I wasn't good enough. I couldn't play matches, but I could still go up to training. I continued going up to training, with the A team. But I think eventually at one stage they stopped training there. We were playing in St. Raphaela's on the AstroTurf pitches, and they just stopped showing up. So I decided to join the B's. The B team were playing there, and then again I was still like one of the weakest players on that team. Do you know what I mean? And they were asking me like, how are you on the A's? You're like one of the worst players on this B team. I was like, it's because this gobshite of a coach put me on the A team. I probably should have. It would have been a much safer option to put me on the C team and see how I got on from there, see how I progressed. But anyway, the end of the season came around. I didn't join, or didn't rejoin for the next season. I couldn't play matches because I joined late in the year. But the following year, the 2009 2010 season, I joined a team called Lakelands. The reason I joined, they're based in like Stillorgan, Sandyford kind of area, Leopardstown. They had like 2 different, they had like 3 grounds. We trained in Clonski, and we had 2 home grounds. We played in Barnet Park in Sandyford and the Leopardstown behind the Lep Inn. And do you know what I mean? The reason I joined this team was because, you know, two of my friends from school in my class played for them, but they quit. They quit the year I joined, and I was like, fuck's sake, why? You know, and you know, I was put on the B team. They had like an A and the B team. You know, it was a bit more sensible me going on the B team this time. You know, how did that go? We trained once a week on the Wednesday. We had a match on the Sunday normally. You know, and I was probably one of the worst players there. I was, you know, kept on the sidelines a lot, you know. Do you know what I mean? And like, we weren't a great team. We were like in the lowest division in the league. We were like around like mid-table. I think one day we lost 6-0 to the Cabinteely C team, and I told my friend about it, who's I think either on the A or the B team, and he was like laughing at us, and he said, "How could you lose 6-0 to them? They're so bad." And I was like, sure, geez, they kept me on the bench the whole time, sidelines, and you know, didn't go too well. Yeah, I think that kind of crushed my dreams, because I wanted to become a professional footballer, and now I couldn't even make like a B team, and you know, who tend to get beaten by other C teams. Do you know what I mean? And my dad was saying, "Oh, you've no hope of making it as a professional. There's guys on those pitch which are like 10 times better than you, and even they wouldn't have a hope." And you know, and yeah, I quit at the end of the season because, you know, I went to a boarding school, Gormanstown, and you know, I wanted to continue playing for Lakelands, just come up on the match on the weekend, because, you know, I did come home on weekends. But I couldn't train during the week because I'll be up at school. You know, I asked my mother and she said, "No, you can't." I think they're just fed up of driving me around Dublin, watching me stand around on the sidelines the whole time. And anyway, that didn't stop me. I still played football after school quite a lot in the sports complex. I went on trial for the school team. You know, the first training session was okay. Like it was like a first and second year team. You know, but then on the second training day, like, all the weaker players pretty much didn't show up, and I was like the weakest player there by like a long way, and they just kept me in goals, and I just stood there, pretty much did nothing. They only had like one shot on goal the whole match, the training match, and I hit the post, and I just stood there, and I was like, okay, I'm a bit out of my depth here, so I didn't train with them after that. Yeah, I continued playing football in the sports complex after school some days. Other days I'd just sit in my room playing PlayStation. Other days I'd just hang around, mess about, do you know what I mean? Sometimes go to the pool. I wouldn't train properly in the pool, I'd just mess around, you know, jump off the diving board from like the side, which was like against the rules. I got kicked out of the pool one time for doing that. You know, I did some football camps over the summer, 2011, UCD and Shangana Park. Do you know what I mean? I badly wanted to make it as a pro, and you know, I knew I had to train more. Then 2011, I think, when I went back to school, that's kind of when it all ended. You know, like at the start of the year, I was all football. I wanted to, you know, or soccer, whatever, and I wanted to make the team. You know, I tried out for the first and second year trials team this year, that year, and I was more confident, enthusiastic, because, you know, now I was like one of the older guys on the team. I was the second year, and I wouldn't be had to playing against guys a year older than me. But I still couldn't make the team, and there's one other guy who got on the team ahead of me, like right back, and I was really pissed off about that. And that put me off a little bit, and you know, I ended up getting into running that year. You know, I started running quite a lot after school. I wasn't training properly, but, you know, I was really into it. I joined a club. I trained with them like on the weekends, and I'd, you know, train normally by myself after school during the week. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I still played football a little bit, but I was kind of more interested in running. I was running more. Eventually, I think the summer 2012 was kind of where my, you know, football kind of ended. You know, like, I was training with my athletic club in the summertime like 5 times a week. I wasn't doing like any soccer at all. You know, like, I was thinking of trying out for the team when I got back for my 3rd year at school, and I was even trying to try out for the Gaelic team as well, but at the end I decided not to bother. I just decided to focus on running. So yeah, as a 15-year-old, that my soccer career kind of ended. So I think it was like a 6-year long journey, which was a bit of a disaster, but, you know, It's a good story. Do you know what I mean?